Hey everybody, it's Ryan coming at you with another dispatch from Gastric Measures, which is my YouTube channel about my journey through having a gastric sleeve surgery. Forgive me, I'm a little stuffy and it's making everything sound weird in my head, um, which is par for the course for me, but this time it's just weird echoing and not, weird voices. So, let's see. First of all, I was sleeved last Friday, January 12th, at St. John's, Moros, Detroit, St. John's, Maine, I don't know what they call it, hospital in Grosse Pointe. And Dr. Hawasley did my surgery. My starting weight when I started the liquid diet phase was 435.2. And this morning, I'm switching these up to Wednesdays, by the way. And this morning, I weighed in at 405.8, which for everyone playing at home who likes to do math is 30 pounds lost in the last 3-ish weeks. That's crazy. 5 more pounds and I'm out of the 400s, which that's wow. I'm really psyched about that. I've already been told to expect a stall or even a little bit of gain. That was the chair, not me. To expect a stall or a little bit of a gain in week 3, and I'm prepared for that. I told my friend Ashley, who warned me, I told her that I'm prepared and I won't panic, but then I am going to whine, and that I'm going to call her to whine. So yeah. Let's see. So I guess the big news to update you guys on is that I had my procedure done. Here is kind of the breakdown of how it went. I went to the hospital with my parents. My ex-wife met us there as well. And they kind of kept me company while I waited. I got my tummy shaved and I got, IV started and all that good stuff, blood tests. And at about noon, they said it was going to be 11, but at noon I got wheeled into the pre-op staging area and, separated from my family and everything, and sat there for like 3 hours. Now, and you can't bring a book, you can't bring your phone, you can't bring Kindle, anything. You just sit there. I joked with some of the nurses that they could at least get like some magazines or have TVs in there or something. But, whatever. I don't even think they expect you to be back there. And, the only reason I was back there so long is the surgery before mine that Dr. Hawasley did had some complications. And so I think all told I got wheeled back around 3:30. And then I was the one pushing people back because I had complications. You may remember me talking back in my first video about having a lap band that eroded. That left a considerable amount of scar tissue. And so my operation took twice as long to perform as it normally does because they had to cut away all that scar tissue. So, yeah. The surgeon, my surgeon was off on Saturday, so he was not at the hospital. But they had another surgeon from his team come and talk to me, a guy who was in the room. And he said if I had been running the room, I would not have done the surgery. It was too complicated for my skills, which really shows what a good doctor, Dr. Hawasley is, what a good surgeon he is, because he was up for the challenge. He said, we're going to get this done. I don't think I was in any danger. I think it was just more challenging than they expected it to be. So I came to in the recovery room around, I believe it was like 6 or so. I don't really have a good concept of time. It was about 2.5, 3 hours for a procedure that's supposed to take 90 minutes. And I felt awful when I first woke up. Anyway, I don't say that to scare anybody, but anesthesia-wise, I don't have a problem with anesthesia, but when you wake up, I just my throat was sore from the intubation. I felt nauseous. I felt like I was going to throw up. They kept telling me I wasn't going to. And eventually they gave me a plastic tub to just keep spitting into because I thought I was throwing up. So I just asked them to make it stop. And, finally they did. and I got wheeled into my room. My family was there with me for a little while. They told me they talked to Dr. Hawasley, and he said everything was a success, and told me about how it took longer and why and all of that kind of stuff. And then, by that time it was starting to get late. It was about 8 o'clock, and I knew I was going to be wanting to go to sleep soon, or try to sleep at least. So, once they were there, like, until the nurses came in and got me settled, got my first set of labs and vitals and all that kind of stuff, and then they just kind of, plugged in all my devices for me and left me to rest. I didn't sleep great, obviously. It's hospital. I don't know anybody who really gets the best sleep of their lives in a hospital. But, yeah, I didn't sleep great. I had one of those band things around my abdomen, which made it, kept bunching up whenever I would move in the little hospital bed. And, hospital beds are not comfortable. It's just... Hospitals are the worst place to be when you're sick. That's what my grandpa used to say, and it's absolutely true. You can't possibly actually get better in a hospital. You can get good enough to get out of the hospital and then go rest at home. So that was my recovery. They came in a few times. I had no problem. I've seen some people say they couldn't go home because they couldn't pee. I had no problem doing that. They were impressed with my output, is the way they said it. So I had no problems there. And the next morning around 11, they took me for a swallow test and had to bump me back because they had to use different machinery, because I'm sure if I hadn't just had surgery, I could have sucked my gut in a little bit and the machine would have worked fine. But having stitches and everything, they tried, and I was like, I don't like this. So they had to bump me back, take me back to my room while they got a different machine that was like a C-shaped thing that could go around and move up and down. Did the swallow test. The swallow test came out fine. Still had to wait. This is the thing I don't understand about hospitals, why it takes so long. I mean, I guess I get it, but like the radiologist who read my swallow study, he was in the room watching it, and he said, "Yep, looks good, no leaks." And I said, "Cool." To me, that's when you pick up the phone and say, "He's got no leaks, get this man some water," because I was so thirsty at that point. I hadn't had anything to drink in like at least 36 hours. And I'd had a tube down my throat and all this stuff. My throat was killing me. I needed some water. So finally they got my results. She came in with a cup of ice water, and I ordered some Jell-O. That was really kind of all I wanted, was just some red Jell-O, which, for all the things, some people make fun of St. John's and some people think it's great. I have no true allegiance to the hospital. They have a primo Jell-O. I don't know why it's so good, but it was very, very good. So I enjoyed my Jell-O. They made sure I could keep everything down, and I was out. I got home around like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock Saturday. So I was at the hospital a total of like 30, not even 48 hours. So I was home the next day. I got settled into a recliner in my parents' living room and played a little Grand Theft Auto. And we call that chair the danger chair because you just fall asleep in it. So I kept passing out in the chair, and with my sleep apnea, I don't think I slept very restfully in the chair. I would doze off, and I think 5 minutes later I would wake back. I would go like that and wake up. So I wasn't resting, but whatever. Hung out in that chair for a couple hours and then decided I was going to bed. And I went up to bed. I took my pain meds for the evening, and I could not sleep. I could not get comfortable because every time I tried to reposition, it hurt a lot. I also was like a little afraid of like germs or whatever, so I wore a shirt in bed, which I don't normally do, and that would bunch up when I would try to move. Just a mess. So, the pain meds would help me sleep for a little while, and then like when they'd wear off 2 hours later, I'd wake up and be kind of in and out of sleeping until 4 more hours went by and I could take another dose of pain meds, and then I'd sleep for another 2 hours. So that was kind of the first day. I was told by the surgeons discharge orders, and they weren't what my surgeon performing the surgery had said. I don't think. I had a lot on my mind when I talked to him before surgery, but I remember him saying, clear liquids for 1 day and then move on to fulls. That's what I remember. That's what's in my instruction manual that they gave me, and so that's what I stocked up for. When I got out, I was told clear liquids for 10 days until I see the doctor again, which is next Monday. And I said, okay, if that's what you guys want me to do, that's fine. I have IsoPure waters. And I mean, that's basically what I was having. I would drink one IsoPure water in the morning, get about 40 grams of protein out of that, drinking it over like 2 hours, 3 hours. And then I would drink water or this beautiful stuff. And I'm going to have a sip right now, in fact. Powerade. Okay, Powerade. Feel free to send me as many free samples as you can. So yeah, that was my diet for like 2 days, and I was like, this can't be right. It goes against everything that I was told beforehand, and I didn't actually hear it from my surgeon. So I emailed the bariatric coordinator and asked her to look into it. And I never got a full answer if she talked to Dr. Hawasley or not, but she said, no, you should be on full liquids now. Sorry for the confusion. Cool. So starting yesterday, I've been enjoying a couple Premier proteins a day, and I had some Healthy Request cheddar cheese soup that I made with Fairlife skim milk, and that was really tasty. And I had about a half cup. I have probably 4 servings worth of 4 sleeve servings worth of soup, so that'll get me through the next couple days. And my parents, I'm feeling well enough that I might actually go to comedy sports practice tonight and just sit and watch and kind of hang out with my friends. But if I do that, my parents are going to have to drive me, and they're going to go out to dinner. And there's a restaurant near our arena that, arena is our word for theater. There's a restaurant near our arena that has this amazing beer cheese soup, and would really hit the spot. And so I asked my mom, I said, if I go to practice tonight, practice is what we call rehearsal. Everything's all sportsy. So if I go to practice, would you either go to dinner at that restaurant or at least pick up like 4 bowls of that soup to go, and so I can keep them in the fridge, and that can be kind of my soup because it is so good. It's delicious. And yeah, that'll, hopefully dairy hasn't been bothering me yet. I was told it might, and it hasn't. Nothing that, people have warned me about has happened yet. But I've been told some of it comes later. I've been told, like, fatigue, be ready for fatigue, and it might not start until day 5, 6, or 7, somewhere in there. Who knows? Right now, I don't really feel any fatigue. I've just been sitting around mostly, but I haven't really needed to nap. Yesterday, I felt like I wasn't quite walking. I haven't been, like, getting up and walking too much because it's really cold, and I'm like trying to get up once an hour or two and do like 5 or 6 laps around my parents' living room just to walk. But yesterday my dad needed to go to Costco, and I was like, you know what, I'll just go with you, and that way I can walk Costco. And I walked the entire store, and by the time we got to where it was like stand in line for checkout, I was like, okay, I need to go sit down. So I sat down interesting enough, I sat down in the snack bar area where they have that awesome pizza. Like, if you haven't had Costco pizza, it's so good. And I really didn't feel a craving for it when I was there. Like, I can say it's so good. But like, I was able to sit there and see it being made and see people buying it and not be like, ooh, I want that so bad. Now, and it's kind of weird how that works. It's like yesterday, my parents were making their dinner, and I was just sitting with my kid watching a movie, and, he was going to wait for dinner, and I was going to have a protein shake a little later on. And my dad, part of the meal was just some of that Texas toast garlic bread, and my dad said, is that killing you, that smell? And, he was just trying to be nice, and I told him, I said, it's funny, like, you didn't do anything wrong, but just to be conscious of this, that I wasn't really even thinking about it until you mentioned it, and now it's all I can smell. Of the whole meal cooking, all I can smell is the garlic bread, and yeah, now it is driving me crazy. So it's kind of one of those things. It's like I just wasn't thinking about it. So, which is interesting. Um, let's see what else. Let me look at my little script here. Well, that kind of covers how I'm feeling, which was the next thing. And I, talked about recovery and diet. Those were my three big things to hit, and I kind of did them all together. But yeah, recovery's going pretty well so far. My incisions are healing nicely, and I sometimes have shoulder pain when I try to take a deep breath. I was told that's probably pockets of gas by a lot of friends, and I tested the theory by taking some Gas X chewables, and it generally goes away when I do that. So I feel pretty confident that I'm not having a leak or anything like that. I don't have any other symptoms of that, and I've had a leak before when my lap band was removed. I remember how awful it feels. So hopefully things remain on the forward progression. And the last thing I want to talk about is this just incredible community that I found between doing this YouTube channel and my Instagram page, which is the same name. If you want to check it out, gastric_measures. People are so amazing. People I've never met before, hardly talked to, have reached out to me, and I've done the same to them, to just say, even people I'd never talked to just saw that I mentioned I was having my surgery on Friday and reached out to me and were like, hey, how did it go? We haven't heard from you. And over the weekend, I didn't feel much like posting anything on Instagram, and I had 5 or 6 people send me private messages like, hey, we haven't seen you out here in a while, and just wanted to make sure you were okay still. And we saw, the one, I posted one picture of me, kind of funny, but I didn't really mean it to be. It just looks funny. There's a picture letting people know that I had come out of surgery and recovered, and I guess it's funny, but I don't know. So, yeah, it's just an amazing community. There's been people I've been corresponding with more regularly and started to talk about things other than just the surgery. I know that there is at least one person that I know of who is having their surgery today, and that is Beth. She should be just about done pretty soon. So I hope that's going good for her. And the few different YouTube channels I've interacted with, those people have been super nice as well, and it's been really great. And I don't think I could be doing this as upbeat and as positive without that community on Instagram, without you people that are watching my channel. And so, as usual, I would love to hear from you. Please, if you watch these videos, just leave a comment, say hi. I don't care if you're one of my IRL friends or if you are somebody who stumbled across this. I'm really hoping that somebody finds this channel and devours it the way I did with Chemistry Queen and with VSG Brit and with Experiencing Nirvana and who else, Fighting 400 and Fly Girl Fitness. I'm hoping, those were the people I watched their whole channel, every single video. I would just put them on autoplay and just watch them or listen to them while I was working, and it helped me prepare for this. And so I'm hoping I can be the same for somebody else. But my recovery has been nice. I've been watching a lot of movies. I discovered, holy shit, you guys, ER. It's one of my favorite TV shows of all time. And I've for the longest time been lamenting, when are they going to put that on some sort of streaming platform? Because the DVD set is $250. And I love ER enough to get it from the library. I love it. But it's on Hulu. It just got added to Hulu. Somebody, my brother joked, he said, I figured that's why you scheduled your surgery when you did. Because you knew you could watch ER for the whole time. I was laying in the hospital watching old episodes of The Office because I didn't want... The other show I've been watching a lot is Scandal. I'm on season 5. I'm addicted to it. It's trashy sometimes, and it's out of control, impossible to believe at times, but I just love it so much, and I can't help it. So I'm devouring Scandal. I've been watching some ER. I've been watching a lot of movies, and trying to read some. When my kid is here, he likes to watch the same 5 or 6 movies over and over again, and he's got good taste for a 2-year-old. He likes Lego Batman, he likes WALL-E, he likes The Incredibles, and Inside Out. He likes all really good kids movies that I really enjoy as well. But after like 3 times in a week, I don't need to keep watching them, and so I try to sit and read while he's watching them. I try not to play on my phone while he's watching those. I try to sit and read. And right now I'm reading 2 books. I'm still reading that Improv Nation book that I think I mentioned, which is kind of the history of this art form that I love. And then I started reading The Circle by Dave Eggers, which was a movie that I really enjoyed and most people didn't. So I'm enjoying the book as well. So I kind of just try to go back and forth day to day. You know, today is a Circle day, tomorrow's an Improv Nation day. But yeah, so that's kind of what I've been enjoying. I've watched a couple movies. I watched Dunkirk last night with my dad, and he got mad because I dozed off a little bit. But, I mean, it was a good movie, but fucking nobody talks in that whole movie. It's like there's like 12 lines in the whole movie, and it's all just cool war stuff. And I get it, you couldn't talk, you're trying to escape, but somebody do something. But it was still a good movie. Christopher Nolan doesn't necessarily make bad movies, so it was still enjoyable, but I did doze off a few times because I was, it was just getting near bedtime. I've been playing video games with my friends. I've been playing Grand Theft Auto, been playing Overwatch, playing Warframe. So yeah, I'm enjoying the recovery process as much as I can. And it's hard to even say if I'd be more comfortable in my own house. I don't know. My parents have been here to help me, which is invaluable. I can't pick up my son, which is kind of crushing. It sucks when, like, he bumps his head or he's, like, running around and he trips and falls and he's hurt. He comes running over to me and I can't really pick him up. The best I can do is kind of hold his head against my stomach here and kind of rub his head and make him feel better. But I can't pick him up and hold him the way I want to. And I can't put him to bed because I can't lift him in and out of his crib. So that part sucks. But I've been grateful to have my parents here to... I've been grateful to have my parents here to help me out with him and basically take care of him more or less completely. So that's been a huge help as well. And so, yeah, I think that's kind of it. You know what I would love for this week? I think I said I was going to do a question of the week or something like that. And this week's question of the week is going to be kind of practical. If you come and watch these videos, tell me what you would like to see. And now, here's the thing. I'm probably going to do most of this style for a while where I just sit and talk. That's not to say I won't do any, like, what I ate in a day or anything like that. That just requires editing software that I don't have, but may get sometime. And I may do things like, do stuff at the gym or who knows once I start going back to the gym. But what would you want to see? And it doesn't have to be, I know I said I was going to talk about my sleeve journey, but I don't want to just talk about that. So, we can talk about anything. I'm happy to keep recommending books to people, or I love talking about the things I love. So if there's something you're interested in, let me know and I will make it part of my videos. Unless it's like, you want me to talk about, I don't know, how the alt-right is awesome. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do it because they're not. So yeah, I would love to make this channel more for you guys and talk about what you want to hear. So you just let me know. And I'd love to know that you're there. I know I've got 8 subscribers. I know who 3 of you are. So give me a shout. Let me know you're out there. So, all right. Until next week, or if something interesting happens, take it easy. I need a sign off. Help me figure out a sign off. Take it sleevey, I think I said last week, and it made me hate myself. So for now, I'm just going to say bye.